Within the world of pro wrestling, there are so many what if scenarios, and one of those scenarios that has sparked a lot of interest in recent memory is what if WrestleMania had always been a two-night event. Now, this will be a new series on the channel that I plan on running with for a while, so let's not mess about and dive right in, starting with WrestleMania 1. So a little rule for this series: the match that main evented WrestleMania originally will be my Night 2 main event. I can't change that. Also, when I'm picking a Night 1 main event, it's hard to look at things without the power of hindsight, because, there might be a big match on the card, but another match was better in terms of wrestling. We're going to go with what I think they would have went with back in the day. So, here with WrestleMania 1. Originally, the WrestleMania 1 card was 9 matches in total, so a 2-night card could be more than possible, with 5 matches on each night. Now for Night 2, we have Hulk Hogan teaming with Mr. T against Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, well, this was the original matchup obviously. And then for Night 1, I think this is the obvious choice, but it's Andre the Giant versus Big John Studd, which was a body slam challenge where the winner would get $15,000 at the time. And the winner of this match, of course, was Andre the Giant. Now for some of these events, a 2-night card just isn't possible for some reasons more obvious than others, which is the case with moving on to WrestleMania 2. Now WrestleMania 2 already technically had 3 main events. It's the only WrestleMania that's emanated from 3 different states. It was in New York, Illinois and Los Angeles. Now the New York main event had Mr. T defeating Roddy Piper in a boxing match. The Illinois main event had the British Bulldogs defeating Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine, and the Los Angeles main event had Hulk Hogan defeating King Kong Bundy in a steel cage match. This is just too complex to put into a 2-night format, so for this reason we're going to move on to WrestleMania 3. With this being a normal WrestleMania, in terms of it was in one place, WrestleMania 3 emanated from the Pontiac Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. For so long, this was the biggest WrestleMania of all time in terms of attendance, all the way up until WrestleMania 32. Now, with this being one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time, it needs 2 huge main events. So, Night 2, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, obviously one of the biggest matches in WWE history. It's still talked about to this day, mainly for the Hulk Hogan body slam. But for WrestleMania Night 1, in this case, the main event will be the Intercontinental Championship match between Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Randy Savage. Now this match is also talked about still to this day as one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. So I feel like in a 2-night format, WrestleMania 3 would thrive. We're going to be skipping over WrestleMania 4 as well. Now, although it may benefit from a 2-night format because of just how long this whole tournament was, if you didn't know, WrestleMania 4, the whole show practically was a tournament bar a few matches here and there. It was a tournament for the WWF Championship at the time. Now, it is just a bit confusing to put it into a 2-night format, so for that reason we are also skipping over this, and I'm happy to say that this is the last WrestleMania that we will be skipping. So now let's move on to WrestleMania 5. So this year's WrestleMania is actually perfect because in total it was a 14-match card, which means 7 matches per night. Now that's the way that the WWE currently do WrestleMania as recently as WrestleMania 41. And I'll be honest, before I'd done my research for this video, I wasn't aware that these older WrestleManias had so many matches on these cards. So the Night 2 main event, as stated previously, doesn't change. It's the Mega Powers colliding, Hulk Hogan versus the Macho Man Randy Savage. And for the Night 1 main event, we have gone for the Ultimate Warrior versus Rick Rude. I also think a lot of people will be way more familiar with this match now as well, now that it was featured in the WWE 2K24 Showcase mode. Moving on to WrestleMania 6, this event had 15 matches in total, which is honestly kind of crazy. So one night you would have 7 matches, and on the other 8 matches. If you wanted to do 8 and 8 by adding another, so be it, but 7 and 8 is fine. So the main event of WrestleMania 6 was obviously the Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan. That stays. And for the Night 1 main event, I was actually kind of thinking about putting the mixed tag match with Dusty Rhodes and Sapphire facing Randy Savage and Queen Sherry. It would have been nice to have Dusty Rhodes main event in a WrestleMania, and I thought that this was a pretty cool mixed tag team match. But overall I decided against it, and instead went with Ted DiBiase defending the $1 Million Championship against Jake the Snake Roberts. So much like WrestleMania 6, WrestleMania 7 was also a 15-match card in total, so 7 matches on one night, 8 matches on the other. And by the way, if you look at this card, this show cooked. The match card for WrestleMania 7 cooked. Just banger after banger. But anyway, Night 2 main event, Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter, stays the same with all the politics that came around that match. And the Night 1 main event, we are going with the Ultimate Warrior versus the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Now, this was actually dubbed as the Macho Man's retirement match, but we all know this was not his retirement match. So anyway, big retirement match for the Night 1 main event. So yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage did not retire, and in fact went on to the following year's WrestleMania, WrestleMania 8, to face Ric Flair. Now this was a huge matchup at the time, so that's why it is my Night 1 main event, and my Night 2 main event is the obvious Hulk Hogan versus Sid Vicious match. Now, fun fact, this is actually my favourite Hulk Hogan WrestleMania match of all time, mainly because of the way it begins. Hulk Hogan walks down to the ring and his entrance music plays for what seems like forever. It's like an Anarchy in the Arena match. Hulk Hogan's theme song just keeps playing whilst he's beating down Sid. It's just an epic moment. So yeah, this WrestleMania also had 10 matches, so 5 matches on each night, another stacked card. WrestleMania 8 would be great as a 2-nighter. Really quickly, before we get started with WrestleMania 9, I would just like to know your feedback on today's video, seeing as it's a bit new, a new series, so any feedback, please leave it down in the comments below. So now, WrestleMania 9, technically a 10-match card, so 5 matches with each night, but we all know that that 10th match is when Hulk Hogan inserted himself into the main event. Now, in this alternative universe, that would mean that Hulk Hogan would be the first person to main event both nights of WrestleMania, unlike the real world where that honour goes to Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes from WrestleMania 40. The reason being is because WrestleMania 9 was billed as a double main event from the beginning. Night 1 would be Money Inc. defending the WWF Tag Team Championships against the Mega Maniacs, Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And then the Night 2 main event, it was Yokozuna versus Bret Hart, but it ends up becoming Yokozuna versus Hulk Hogan. So WrestleMania 9 was an easy one to predict. So we're now at WrestleMania 10, which was really the beginning of the new era for the WWE. A lot of the wrestlers thought that WrestleMania 9 was going to be this new era until Hulk Hogan returned and kind of spoiled that. But Hulk Hogan is now gone. He has left the WWF. So WrestleMania 10, we have 10 matches in total, 5 matches each night. Now, with Yokozuna facing Lex Luger at WrestleMania 10, as well as Bret Hart facing Owen Hart, both of these matches will have to be on Night 1 because Yokozuna faces Bret Hart in the Night 2 main event for the WWF Championship. Yokozuna and Bret Hart fought twice on the WrestleMania 10 card. So for the Night 1 main event, I feel like it can't be anything other than the first ever ladder match. Just the novelty of the first ever ladder match in the WWE. It was for both Intercontinental Championships, so we're going with Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels, which just so happens to be one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time, easily. Now I can only apologise because I have just realised that I did lie to you all earlier about skipping another WrestleMania, but we are going to skip WrestleMania 11 here because it only had 7 matches. It was main evented by NFL star Lawrence Taylor with Bam Bam Bigelow, so if we had to choose a Night 1 main event, it would be the WWF Championship match between Diesel and Shawn Michaels, because the WWF Championship match didn't main event. But yeah, sorry again. Moving on to WrestleMania 12. Now WrestleMania 12 was only 1 match longer than the predecessor WrestleMania 11. It had 8 matches in total, however 2 matches were dark matches, so only 6 matches were actually on the main card. So you're probably wondering why I've included WrestleMania 12 but not 11. Well, it's because of the Night 2 main event, Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. This match was 1 hour long. This was an hour-long Iron Man match. So I feel like this show could benefit from being split up, maybe by adding in 2 extra matches to make it a 5-match card on one night and then a 3-match card on the second night with the Iron Man match. or you could do 4 and 4, but I think the 5 and the 3 would maybe work out best here. But yeah, night 1 we've gone for Diesel versus The Undertaker for the WWF Championship. Now I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to make a graphic for WrestleMania 13. WrestleMania 13 only has 7 matches, so I was just going to leave this out. However, I really wanted to make a match graphic for Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. So the main event is obviously The Undertaker versus Sid, and then my night 1 main event is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart. Let me know what you think about this graphic, so I'm actually really happy with how it turned out with all the fire, Austin bleeding. I just think it's great. Now, also this match went into the Hall of Fame this year, so I definitely had to make a special inclusion for it in this video. And just like that, folks, that brings an end to episode 1 of this new series. Look forward to episode 2, where I will be covering WrestleMania 14 to WrestleMania 24, and then episode 3 will be WrestleMania 25 to 35. So yeah, please let me know down below what you thought of this new concept. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, it really helps support me, and leave a subscribe. Check the description, you'll find my link to my Twitter as well. But yeah, in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.